Accelerate 90. We have a special Work Your Wednesday today. I am super excited about it. We will be talking about growing your business with Christie's International Real Estate. There is just so much to tap into with your Christie's affiliation. So I'm super excited to be tapping into that today. So I want to introduce a special guest we have here today, Miss Ann Colvin. Her title is VP of Affiliate Services for Christie's International Real Estate. A fun fact is that she's based in our Goose Island office. So if you guys ever want to actually meet Ann in person, she does exist and she's at Goose. Ann manages our affiliate relationships with Christie's brokerages all throughout the country. She also came from leading RE and luxury portfolio, which is super exciting. We have relationships with them. So that's a really cool background that Ann has. She's got a lot of good experience in real estate, and luxury marketing and all things luxury. So we're super excited to have Ann here today. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you, Angela. I'm excited to be here with you all.
All right, so I'm going to stop share and then I'm going to allow you to share your screen because Ann has a great presentation for you guys today.
All right, perfect. Let's see if we can make this work seamlessly, Angela.
I know. Yes, I see your screen.
We got it? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much. And let's
It's all yours.
go ahead and get started. That sounds great. Well, thank you everyone for having me today. As Angela mentioned, I'm Ann Colvin, VP of Affiliate Services for Christie's International Real Estate. And today we want to talk to you about all things Christie's and in particular, how to leverage this affiliation in your business. So we're going to go through a lot of stuff today, but I will share the presentation with Angela after the fact. So if anybody wants to go back and revisit, or you can always get in touch with me too, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have as we go forward. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about your affiliation, give you just kind of the nuts and bolts of what it means, and also kind of how At Properties fits into the whole Christie's landscape. Then we're going to talk about some tools you can use to leverage this brand to help grow your business. And that is also not necessarily specific to the luxury space, but what can you do to use Christie's to help amplify your business at any price point? And then I think the bread and butter of this program is really about winning and marketing top listings. So we are going to dive into some of the great marketing and listing tools we have for your $1 million+ properties. I've got a couple of next steps for you to kind of dive in or at least dip a toe into Christie's. And then we'll do some Q&A as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I want to talk to you first about your Christie's International Real Estate affiliation. And, you know, I've been working with At Properties agents for a long time now, but specifically with Christie's for close to 2 years. And what I have found is that there's some confusion about how this whole relationship works because At Properties has this kind of additional layer of ownership when it comes to Christie's International Real Estate. So I wanted to walk you through what this relationship looks like and kind of how all of these puzzle pieces fit together. So the first thing to let you know is that in December of 2021, At Properties, the company, acquired the Christie's International Real Estate Network from the Christie's auction house, essentially entering into this long-term brand license agreement for the real estate network specifically. When that happened, At Properties, the brokerage, became At Properties Christie's International Real Estate, and your company is now the exclusive Chicagoland area affiliate of Christie's International Real Estate. So there are no other real estate brokerages in the Chicagoland area that can be a part of Christie's International Real Estate because your brokerage is essentially the only one allowed to carry that flag. With that big change, the Christie's International Real Estate headquarters officially relocated from New York City to the Goose Island office. So that's why I sit there, and we have a dedicated team that services the network. There are some shared resources, like we share some of the PR and some of the marketing and graphic design with At Properties, but we really do have an entire team, both in the United States and globally, that's dedicated to Christie's International Real Estate. While I do sit at Goose Island, I don't technically work for At Properties. I work for Christie's International Real Estate, and I treat At Properties like it's my client. So that network consists of well over 100 global affiliates. The affiliation does include, of course, At Properties here in Chicagoland, but it also includes some of the other company-owned brokerages that we have, like Christie's International Real Estate Sereno in Northern California, and also Ansley Real Estate down in Atlanta. And a couple of the App Properties franchises are also a part of the Christie's International Real Estate Network as well. So that includes App Properties Remy in Michigan, and also App Properties Lone Star down in Texas as well. Beyond that handful of companies, though, most of the other brokerages that are a part of Christie's International Real Estate are not owned by App Properties. They are independent brokerages. It's a by invitation only network. Our team is always kind of sussing out new brokerages and new teams that we can add to this network to really continue building all of those relationships that you can have nationally and internationally. So you are affiliated with a bunch of other brokerages nationally and internationally, but they are not necessarily owned by App Properties or Christie's International Real Estate. Those local brokerages are joining this network so that they have access to the Christie's International Real Estate brand, the resources, and our events as well. And we're going to walk through a lot of those things today. And then the last thing I want to tell you about how this relationship works is that the Christie's International Real Estate Network and the auction house are actually separately managed. They're two different businesses. However, we are strategically connected, of course, because we share the same brand name. But we have a dedicated liaison who sits at our headquarters for the auction house in New York City. And we have this kind of continued shared interest in serving high-end clientele. And that's what makes that relationship and that synergy so important and continues to be more important as we build this real estate network up. And then speaking of the network, this is what we're talking about when we talk about Christie's International Real Estate. So we've got hundreds of offices around the world. We actually need to update some of these numbers. We have over 50 countries and territories covered now, and we are kind of aggressively building that, particularly in some of those global regions. That's a big focus for us, but you are well connected to other top independent brokerages who are carrying the Christie's flag around the country and around the world. The Christie's Auction House also has representatives in 46 different countries, and also we have 10 sales rooms around the world as well, and that includes the auction house locations in London and New York as well. And then when we're talking about your affiliation, there's always a few details that I think every agent, regardless of whether you're part of App Properties or any other brokerage affiliate, there are a few things that I think that you should know about the competitive advantages that this affiliation gives to you and your business. The first thing is to just remind you that you are affiliated with one of the oldest and most respected luxury brands in the world. So no matter where you go and no matter the client, whether they are a luxury client or not, Christie's is a very well-known name. It's a very well-respected name, and it automatically kind of connotes quality and discretion and a level of service and expertise, I think, that is synonymous with the auction house, of course, and the kind of real estate business that we do as well. With that in mind, this affiliation, I think, provides great credibility if you're a new agent, and is a great way to enhance it if you're already an established agent, and that is in particular with your million-plus listings as well. As I mentioned, you all have exclusive use of this brand and the resources in this marketplace that's unavailable to any of your other competitors in the market. And with that, you also have access to all of our great global marketing, our beautiful advertising, some amazing communication resources. Those things are all available either at no cost or they're deeply discounted as a part of this relationship. We're going to talk through all of those things today. And then the last thing to mention about this affiliation that I think is very unique and important, and we'll dive deeper into this too, is that you have the ability to streamline your clients' access to the auction house if they have home contents that they would like to have evaluated or sold as well. So you're not only now someone who can help your clients buy and sell real estate, you're also someone who has direct connections to help them sell items of value that they have in their home as well. So whether it's artwork, jewelry, watches, wine, handbags, sneakers is a big new category for them. All of those things are items that we can help help your clients sell via the auction house. So keep that in mind as well. This is a new kind of potential revenue stream for you. And it's also a great service that you can provide to your clients as well. So now I want to share a couple of things that you can do with the Christie's International Real Estate brand and some of the resources that we have to offer to help grow your business. And I think what's great about a lot of these things that I'm going to share with you is that they don't necessarily have to be for those of you who are working exclusively in the luxury price point. There's a lot of great resources here that you can take advantage of no matter what price point you're working in. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is perfecting your pitch and knowing the talking points. I think being able to walk the walk and talk the talk is really important when we're talking about Christie's International Real Estate. And we have a lot of great resources for you to take advantage of to help you get more comfortable talking about this affiliation and what it means to your clients and what it means to you as an agent. The first of those resources is the Christie's International Real Estate Power Playbook. So this is, I call it kind of the Bible to all things Christie's International Real Estate. It's this beautiful handbook that is created for you, so not for your clients, but for you. And it covers, excuse me, the entire gamut of Christie's resources, talking points to use in those conversations with your clients, the key details you need to know about the power of the network and our coverage nationally and internationally. And then it has a great guide to how you can use Christie's International Real Estate resources to win listings and an outline of the tools to use to promote top listings and your brand as well.
And I'm interrupting you really quick.
Sure. What's
We
up?
have a good question in chat from David. He says, if Ad Properties owns Christie's International Real Estate, why is the Ad Properties name on its Christie's affiliates nationwide?
It is not. So at Properties, Christie's International Real Estate is your brokerage name here. But if you go to Naples, for instance, it's John R. Wood Properties, Christie's International Real Estate. If you go to Southern California, it's AKG Christie's International Real Estate. So that at Properties co-branded name is only used in the markets where it is an at Properties affiliate.
That's a good question. And it gets
It is.
tricky, guys, especially when we're dealing with independently owned and operated franchises. You can think of like the old school. I come from the Century 21 world, and we
Yep.
were all at one point independently owned and operated. So we all had our own names, but we were co-branded with the Century 21 brand. So it's kind of similar in that way. And then another point I want to make is, you guys, this power playbook is so freaking
Phenomenal.
cool. I will post this as a follow-up to our webinar today, because this is really powerful and this really has a lot of good nuggets of information on how to speak about the brand. And it can translate to anything local here too in Chicagoland. Like I promised that translation is easy, but a lot of really good talking points on how to win listings, how to tap into the power of the brand. You guys are really going to like this. So I'll make sure that we share this as well.
Absolutely. And I have promised Angela too that we have a kind of second version of this that's coming, and I will share that as a follow-up as well. So it's sort of a mini version of the Power Playbook, but it's really kind of a guide on how to use Christie's when you're servicing clients or listings of any price point too. So it's kind of a V2 of the Power Playbook, but I think it's going to be a great extension of that. But this is truly like, if you want to just kind of dive into everything that this affiliation offers from start to finish, this handbook is the place to start for sure.
And listen, anything you can tap into to help win business and build your business, you should be tapping into. So the way that I look at this is, it's another tool in your tool belt for when you need it, for when the situation is right. And this playbook is full of powerful information. So I'll make sure you guys get a copy of this.
Thank you. That's perfect. So yeah, so the Power Playbook, probably one of the best starting points to keep in mind. And then in addition to that, it has two companion pieces that I would recommend you take a look at as well. One is just a one-pager. So if you don't want to dive into the full Power Playbook, there's a great kind of a one-pager to help you set yourself up for success when you're going on a listing presentation. Essentially, it gives you the instructions of what to do to get ready for that listing presentation, and then specific talking points to use when you're in a luxury listing presentation. If you are more of an audio visual learner, we also have a video as well. So that's a screenshot down there in the corner of our co-presidents, Kevin Van Eck and Natalie Hamrick. And This video is so great. We'll have Angela share a link to this too, but it's kind of the two of them volleying back and forth and talking the talk. So if you want to kind of hear what those scripts or those sound bites sound like in conversation, this is a great way to, I think, hear that and get a little bit more comfortable with what all of that means and how to speak the Christie's language when you're talking to a client. And then the last thing I want to share with you is something that comes up a lot. It's a conversation I've had with a lot of agents here, and frankly, in all of the regions that I service. And I work with agents, from all over the central U.S. and into the southeast as well. So I know that you're not all working with, $20 million properties all the time. So there are a couple of things that I think you can still say about Christie's International Real Estate if you're working with someone who's not a luxury client, or even if it's a luxury client. I think what I hear from a lot of you here is that, oh, we live in the Midwest, and even my client who's selling their $3 million house, like they don't see themselves as luxury and it makes them uncomfortable. And so I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And I don't think that you have to really like double down on the luxury piece of this. I think there's so much more about Christie's that you can talk about that is still really powerful and a great selling point for you. The first thing I would say, and this is something that we always are leading with, is that luxury is a level of service and not a price point. And I think what that really means is that, no matter if you are representing a $200,000 home or a $2 million home, you're still going to be providing the same quality service, the same level of marketing, the same attention to detail to your clients, no matter what kind of property they are selling. And that's really an important thing, I think, that sets all Christie's agents apart. The other thing I would say is that instead of leaning into the luxury piece of Christie's, lean into the global recognition and the reach that we have as a part of this brand. So I know that you're all out there competing against Compass, you're competing against Sotheby's and CB, depending on where you're located, but those brands are always leaning on the fact that they are globally or nationally known and recognized, and that they have this big, amazing network, and that you at Properties are local. But that is not the case, of course. You're a part of Christie's, and Christie's is a very recognizable, very well-respected brand around the world, and you are connected to these affiliate brokerages around the country and around the world as well. So you have the same, if not better, connections and recognition as all of your big franchise competitors do. With that said, too, you have access to this amazing global network of great agents for referrals. So if you have referrals of any price point in any location, we have the ability to connect your clients to the right agents anywhere. So it doesn't have to be a luxury referral. Our affiliates are working with properties and clients in all price points, so keep that in mind as well. I would also mention that this is a brand that's attractive to move up and aspirational buyers, and also to future luxury clients as well. One of my colleagues who works with our West Coast clients, she always says that the first time home buyer of today is the CEO of tomorrow. And so I think it's really important to be leading with this brand and what it offers, because even though they aren't your luxury clientele right now, they really could be in a couple of years, and you have the ability to grow with them. And then the last thing, even if your clients are not buying or selling a home, even if it's not your client, if it's, a sister or a neighbor or someone who's just in your sphere, you have the ability to help anyone that get their valuable items or their collections evaluated and potentially sold via the Christie's auction house. So that's something that you can offer to anyone in your sphere, whether they're buying or selling, whether they are a luxury client or not. That is something that will often come up, I think, in conversations you may be having with someone who has lost a loved one and maybe has inherited items, someone who's divorcing or downsizing. There are a lot of opportunities, I think, for you to help somebody offload items of great value, and this is a really great service that you can provide to them. So the second thing I want to talk to you about is maximizing your affiliation on social media. I think this is kind of an underrated a thing that you can take advantage of, and a great way to tell your sphere about your connection to Christie's International Real Estate by making it kind of a natural part of your online presence. And the first way to do that is with Content Hub. So hopefully you're all familiar with Content Hub by now. It's of course a central location for all these great social media assets. It's available to you in platform. At Properties has a lot of great content available for you in there. But what I wanted to really focus on or remind you about is that there's great Christie's content available there as well. So we have a blog called Luxury Defined, and every time there's a new post on the Christie's Luxury Defined blog, it gets pulled into Content Hub. So you have the ability to share great posts directly from our blog that are about cool global properties, market insights, excuse me, from around the world, great lifestyle and design focused content. And then of course, those assets are available in a variety of formats. And what I think is really important about this is it's a great way to incorporate the Christie's message and the Christie's brand into your kind of ongoing online presence. So I always recommend that agents, maybe you take, whatever your posting schedule is for social media, if you're a frequent poster or not so frequent, maybe it's once every X number of posts, you pop in something that's a Christie's piece of content, because first of all, it's super interesting. It makes you look like an expert, and it does kind of easily and seamlessly remind your clients of this additional brand and this additional level of service and resources that you have available to them. I would also recommend, and this is a super easy one to do, engage with Christie's International Real Estate and with the auction house online as well. So we have a ton of great handles that you can follow on Instagram specifically. And this is a really easy way to find content that you can reshare and engage with on social media and share with your clients. So of course, you can follow us at Christie's Real Estate, but also at Christie's Inc. That's the handle for the auction house. And then you'll see underneath that, we have all of these great kind of Christie's auction house departments that have their own handles as well. And those are really fun ones to follow. If you follow like the at Christie's Watches, for example, that came up the other day, and they were hosting an Instagram live with one of the specialists in the Christie's watch department. And he was holding a watch that they were evaluating and talking about like why it was a great collector's item. So there's always some really great, interesting expertise that they're sharing there, and it's open to the public. So, I mean, think about what a fun and great thing that would be for you to easily just click that button and share it to your stories or share it to your feed. And it automatically is then kind of pumping you up as an expert, sharing interesting, valuable content with your sphere and making you, I think, look incredibly powerful and well-informed, and like you have this great network behind you, because you do.
Hey, Anne.
Yes.
We have another good question.
Okay.
If somebody wants to get a piece evaluated,
Mm-hmm.
who do they reach out to? Is there a specific email or phone number that they call?
It's me. So email me.
Yeah.
Email me, and I'm kind of your conduit to the auction house. So I am in touch with our liaison in New York multiple times a day, sharing all of the details. And essentially, if you or someone in your circle has something to evaluate, send me the images, send me the basic details like the dimensions, when it was created, who the artist or brand was, all those kind of important details. And I send it over to her, and then she'll have it evaluated, and she'll send it to the right department and have them evaluate it. I think what's really nice about that is that even if they do come back to us and say, we don't really think this is an appropriate item for Christie's to sell, they will always give me at least one, if not two or three other options for selling the item too. So they never leave you or your clients high and dry. They're always providing a solution for whatever that is. So it's a great option and a great service for you, especially when you're helping someone likely in a maybe, potentially trying or emotional time is when a lot of these things come up. So it's a very easy process to do, but you can always email me and we can take it from there.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to share Anne's contact information too. So
Absolutely.
after this webinar, probably by tomorrow sometime, you'll have the recording, you'll have the slides for the presentation, you'll have a link to that amazing playbook, and we'll make sure you have Anne's contact info.
Perfect. Thank you. And then I would say, when you're posting anything, if you want to get the attention of anyone who's following Christie's, use some of these hashtags too. So Hashtag Christie's Real Estate, hashtag Christie's Homes, and hashtag Luxury Real Estate are the ones that we here at Christie's International Real Estate are using and as tags for basically all of our posts. So it's a great way to kind of capitalize off of some of the views that are happening to those posts as well. You can also find us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on TikTok. We're posting a lot of great content on all of those channels. It kind of differs depending on what the social media outlet is, but you can always find great Christie stuff on all of those to follow and share. So the third thing is leverage the brand in your personal marketing. So I think it's a great idea, even if you don't have a property to promote, you can still be promoting yourself as a Christie's International Real Estate agent and, promoting along with it that kind of level of expertise and connection and global reach that you have, right? Creative Studio is a great place to start for some of that. I know you're all familiar with Creative Studio, but I just want to kind of remind you that there's some great templates there that you can take advantage of that feature Christie's. It's always all, co-branded. And I would especially lean into any of those templates that are populated with Christie's International Real Estate content, or with the stats that we have as well, because that's a great way to kind of boost your confidence when you're talking about Christie's International Real Estate. It's a great way to let your sphere know that you're a part of this network. And I think it's a great way to showcase any listing of any price point in this kind of luxury light, right? And I think that that's a great kind of physical example, if it's a physical marketing material, of this level of quality and beautiful marketing that you can offer for your properties of any price point, and a great thing to have in your back pocket as you go on some of these listing presentations that may be for higher and higher price points too. And then the next thing I want to share with you is it's a little bit of a hack, but I think that this is a great way to use one of our Christie's listing marketing resources and kind of turn it on its head and make it work for you. So we have a great digital and Facebook ad program that we offer for Christie's properties. So it's for any of your listings that are over $1 million. We have this great opportunity for you to run a digital ad campaign or a Facebook ad campaign. However, you can actually sort of bypass selecting a property and make these ads about yourself. And so I think this is a great way to market yourself as a Christie's agent and as a luxury leader in your marketplace. The ads are branded for Christie's, which gives you, this kind of instant recognition and credibility. They link back to the URL of your choice. So if you've got a great agent website, I think that's a great thing to link it back to. Or you should all have a profile page on christiesrealestate.com. So I think that's kind of just kind of no-brainer of what you could link back to. And then you have to geo-target a minimum of your top 3 markets as well. So this is a great way to put yourself out there as this luxury real estate, well-connected expert in markets that you are very specifically targeting for new business. So I'm not going to give you a whole lot of how-tos in this presentation because we've got a lot of stuff to cover, but since this one's a little bit different, I do want to just show you how this works. So if you are in the Christie's Co-op ad portal, and if you ever need to place an ad, just let me know and I can walk you through this process in more depth. But essentially you would get to this page where you would typically go to the bottom and select one of your properties to advertise, but we just bypass it and click continue up there at the top. And then it's going to take you to this page where it's going to prompt you to enter like all of your property information and some property photos. We're going to make it about you instead. So I'm using my friend Heidi Picard here. And instead of a property name, I made a tagline about myself. So Heidi Picard, your real estate matchmaker, or you could say, John Smith, your Chicago real estate expert, whatever you want to say. You are required to add 2 images because some of the ad formats do require 2 images. So here I used Heidi's photo and her logo. You could use 2 photos of yourself, maybe a photo of yourself and of your market. You can get really creative with this, whatever you want to do. But you add all of those things and then you get to the next page. And then this is where you can decide where you want the ad to link back to. So here I actually chose Heidi's Christie's International Real Estate agent profile. And then geo-targeting, it's a minimum of 3 that are required. So she's going to target Chicago, New Buffalo, Michigan City, because she services all of those places. And then I said, why not Naples too? Because there's a lot of great kind of referral traffic between those markets and up here. And then this is an example of where it would link back to. So this is her landing page on the Christie's real estate website. So this is a great place, I think, to send people back to because they can learn a bit more about you. They can find any of your listings that are on the Christie site, or they can also contact you directly as well. And then kind of mocked up, these are what those ads would look like. They're really inexpensive. They range from like $99 to $179 for a 1 week or a 2 week run. But I think it's a really interesting way to use one of our tools and kind of turn it on its head, make it work for you, and make it about personal or brand promotion versus about marketing a million plus property. And it's a great way to really position yourself in that kind of elevated light online. So the next is sharing Christie's International real estate content with your sphere. And I think that this is a really good way to take advantage of all of the great content that we put out and use it as a way to kind of boost yourself as an expert and as someone who's really well connected in not just the real estate space, but kind of beyond that from a luxury point of view as well. And the first thing I would recommend is sharing the Christie's International Real Estate magazine with your sphere. So the backstory on the magazine is that this is really kind of the heart and soul of Christie's International Real Estate. Um, our network was basically born out of a magazine. In the 1980s, the auction house created this magazine. At that point, it was called Christie's Great Estates. And the idea there was that, there's got to be this connection between high net worth individuals who are selling items at the auction house and also high net worth individuals who are selling their homes as well. So why not capitalize on that, partner with real estate companies and create this magazine where they can advertise their beautiful properties to the auction house audience. So they created this magazine, and now we have continued on this tradition, and it's a beautiful magazine. It's kind of coffee table quality, great content that's super engaging, and it's great for any of your readers or people in your sphere who appreciate travel or design trends. And so these magazines are always kind of freely available in your office. They come out twice a year in the spring and in the fall. So our spring summer issue is what you've got right now, and that's what you're looking at here. Our next issue will come out in late September, and that's our fall winter issue. But this is a great thing that you can share. Those copies are great to take to any local events that you're going to share at open houses. We have some agents who kind of slide them into any of their client gifting that they're doing, and that's a really nice way to share it as kind of part of a bigger package. You can also share the digital version of the magazine as well. So I'm going to show you next how to find the digital magazine, but that's a great thing to share to your social media. If you have your own blog, you can share content there or in an email newsletter. Great way to kind of capitalize off of this professionally written content that we have available to you and make it something that can help boost you further into the eyes of your seller as someone who's an expert and well connected. So if you're on christiesrealestate.com, if you just scroll below the fold, you will find a button over there on the right-hand side for magazine. Click on that, and it's got its own landing page here. So as I just mentioned, we have the spring summer 2024 issue available now. And right below that, you can click on Explore the Digital Magazine, and that will take you to the full digital flip book of our entire magazine that lives right here. And you can flip through that and find exactly what you're looking for. And it's super easy. If you go up here to the top right, you have the ability to share it right from here. You can download it, print it as a PDF. You have a lot of different options that you can take advantage of, but this is a super easy and free way, right, to be able to share this with your sphere. And I think that's a great way to use this content and make it work for you. The other thing I wanted to mention about the magazine, and this is a little bit more of an investment, but I think if you are really looking to do a push and to do something to help promote your personal brand, a custom version of the Christie's International Real Estate magazine is a great thing to keep in mind. So this is a great way to really market yourself, elevate your brand, and make all of this content work for you in a very custom, individualized way. So if you would like to customize the magazine, you can do that at any time throughout the year. The options include a bound-in letter that can help you promote yourself or kind of communicate your message, whatever that is, to your clients. You can feature one of your top listings on the cover. So you actually are seeing here on the right-hand side two previous custom covers of the magazine. This one, of course, here in Chicago. This one up here is a property in South Carolina that one of my other affiliates did. And then you have the option to either direct mail it to your sphere, which is, I think, a super special way to take advantage of this. Or you can also bulk ship copies to yourself, and then you can use them kind of as you wish, maybe at open houses, maybe at a listing presentation. It's a great thing to use in a listing presentation or in any events that you go to. Also in gifting, I think that makes a lot of sense as well. And then the cost for this is, I think, pretty reasonable. It's about $7 per copy if you're doing the bulk ship option, or about $10 per copy if you're direct mailing it. You can contact me if you want more details and kind of to find out how this all works. But I did want to show you some examples of what the customization looks like. So of course, these are what those custom covers can potentially look like. It does have to be a listing photo, but it could be a sold listing if you still have access to those images. So keep that in mind too. We have a templated letter that you can take advantage of. So this one is co-branded for AKG, but it would be this would be co-branded for App Properties. It would have your photo, your contact information at the bottom, and then that whole body of the message is totally up to you. So I think this is a great opportunity for you to sit down and say, you know, how do I want to position myself? What do I want to say to my network? And what do I want to say when I'm putting myself out there and promoting my brand? And you have the opportunity to do that. And it's a very easy, kind of simple thing to customize. We have other agents too who will take this and kind of double down on a property ad. So Damien, who is a great agent in South Carolina, he's the one who did that South Carolina custom cover. It was a big trophy property of his. So he used the custom letter, the bound in letter, as an opportunity to do a full page ad for his property. And then typically on the backside, you're going to find kind of an opportunity to showcase all of your listings. This could be listings that are on the market for you. It could be listings that are previously sold that you want to, you know, brag about, or you can get really creative and submit your own creative for these as well. So it's really up to you how you want to customize this piece. But I think kind of the sky's the limit, and you can really make this something that is all about you and positioning yourself to your sphere, or also to maybe a high net worth list that you have pulled, and really put your name out there as someone who is an expert in your market and who is well connected. And then the last thing I want to show you on this is if you do the direct mail piece, it also has a mailer that kind of wraps the magazine as well. And this is what it looks like. So it would be wrapped with this and then polybagged when it's mailed out on your behalf. So there's a couple of different templates that can be used, but essentially the backside would be branded for Christie's or for maybe a property of yours. And then you can put yourself on the cover. So it says compliments of your name and with your headshot, etc. So it's a really nice way to kind of further customize it and make it all about reinforcing your connection with this brand and positioning yourself as a well-connected expert. And then I mentioned luxury defined when we were talking about social media, but I did just want to kind of point you there as well. So luxury defined is, of course, our blog. Again, you can find this on the homepage of christiesrealestate.com, or if you go directly to christiesrealestate.com/blog, you can get right there. But the blog is a great resource for tons of interesting content. I especially want to point out the market insights section as well, because this has a lot of great stuff, actual information about and research about what's going on in other markets around the world. So if you want to have kind of that cocktail chatter available to you, or you want to put something into your newsletter that positions you as not just an expert here, but an expert in markets around the world, check out the market insight section, because there's a lot of great stuff available to you here. Our real estate reports, like our mid-year and end of year luxury reports, are all available there, and you can share them directly to your social media as well, or you can email them out right from those posts on the Luxury Defined blog as well. All right, and then my last tip for you here is to engage with the network and also with the auction house. So I think being able to embrace our network is a really important part of being a part of Christie's International Real Estate. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Being connected with the other agents around this network, I think, is really what makes being part of this so special. First, attending our conference, which unfortunately it's next week. So this year, if you have not registered, you may have missed the boat, but we will have an annual conference available to you to attend. It will be in Beverly Hills next week, and it's attended by hundreds of agents from around the country and around the world. So it's a great way to meet agents from other brokerages all in one place. The other thing, though, that I would recommend is to go to other Christie's International Real Estate regional or local events as they arise. Of course, At Properties does a lot of great events, but I know a lot of our other brokerages are frequently hosting things, and they may be passing on those invitations to you. So if you get something from our, affiliate in Michigan or affiliate in Madison, Wisconsin, consider going to those things, because I think it's a really great way to make those personal connections and create those important referral relationships that are really great for enhancing your business. I would also recommend that you join us for our monthly Connect Live virtual presentations as well. So these always feature agent panelists from around the network sharing their expertise on a variety of topics. So the last one was about some of our social media superstars. And then before that, we talked about luxury at every price point. So those are great ways to connect with other agents and learn from them too.
I just have to hop on really quick.
Yeah.
I love those Connect Live presentations. I feel like there's so much value in those, just like getting to talk or getting to hear other agents from different parts of the country talk. It just gives you a lot of like really good insight. So I highly recommend you guys attend those if you've never done that. And they're easy. They're webinar based. You just hop
Yes.
on if you can. We have Julie that says, I met with brokers from two of our SEMI. Is that Southeast Michigan?
Southeast
offices
Michigan. Yeah.
last week?
Yep. Great.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
great.
And a great way to network, right?
100%. Yeah, I think that's such a powerful way to take advantage of it. I also think like when you're meeting with those people in person, snap a picture, share it to your Instagram. I think that's also a really great way to kind of capitalize on those relationships and those in-person meetings too.
Yeah.
With that, visit those other affiliates. When you're traveling, let me know if you're going somewhere and you want an introduction to one of our other brokerages in that market. I'm happy to make those intros. Everyone loves meeting each other. And so I'm always happy to facilitate that when you're traveling as well.
You know what else Anne can facilitate? Tours of the Christie's auction house in New York City. I was in New York last week and I almost went. I was like super excited, but I couldn't squeeze it in. So that's really cool too. We're being asked, how do we find the dates for the live webinars? How is that communicated? And I always just get an email. Do all of our agents get that via email?
Yes, everyone should be getting it via email. There won't be one this month because of the conference. We are kind of foregoing it for this month because we're all a little bit busy, but we will revisit it again in July. So keep an eye on your email for that. We'll have another one available for you guys then.
It's probably, no offense, it's probably one of those emails that you get and just delete. Next time, pay attention, because the info's probably in there, and they're pretty great. The ones that I've watched.
We've had some really great panelists, and also if you have any, topics that you're interested in as well, always let us know that too, because we want to make sure that these are working for you guys, and that I'm sorry, I have dogs barking in my house all of a sudden. We want to make sure that they really work for you and that the topics are relevant and interesting. So if you've got ideas, what you want to hear about, what you want to learn from other agents, always let me know. And I'm happy to set that up or add that to our kind of topic list. But keep an eye out. July will be the next one.
Are they recorded, Anne?
Yes, they're recorded too.
Where could we find the recordings? Are they
we typically email them out. So Angela, maybe I can send that to you if there's maybe there's a central location that we can share them for At Properties agents or something to go revisit another time or something. So
yeah, that's actually a good idea. We'll circle back on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, they're definitely recorded because we know a lot of people, you get busy or you want to revisit it. So, but there's a lot of good nuggets to share for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. And then the last thing I would mention here is, follow our agent influencers or agents in important feeder markets to you on social media, reshare their posts, reshare their listings, create collaborations. This is my short list of some of the agent influencers that I would recommend. And I'll include this list as a follow-up to Angela as well, so that you don't all have to kind of scribble this down. But these are some great agents who do a beautiful job of incorporating Christie's into their social media presences and do a wonderful job of just kind of keeping beautiful, relevant, interesting social media presences. And then to Angela's point, we have a great connection with the auction house as well. So we have this beautiful 250-year history of Christie's, the auction house, which has really spun into this amazing real estate network. We have a great synergy there. So we do a lot of kind of joint events or communications with them. Plus, we have our dedicated liaison who sits at their 20 Rockefeller Center headquarters as well. If you would like to engage with the auction house, share their content. So I think that's a great way to make the connection tangible by sharing their content on your social channels. And then, as Angela mentioned, to plan a visit. So if you or if one of your clients is visiting New York City or London, you can always let me know, and I can help you arrange a private tour as long as it's during a weekday. My girl Tina Marie there would love to show you around. And then the last way you can engage is by sending a content referral. And so we've touched on this a little bit, but this is, of course, a great part of your value proposition as a part of Christie's International Real Estate. You never know who's going to be a client. So I think promoting this as a part of the services that you provide, making it a part of your messaging is a great way to position yourself as an expert. Anytime your clients or someone in your sphere has something of value that they would like to sell, you can always loop me in and we can talk about what needs to happen to make that referral process happen. If it is a new client that you are introducing to the Christie's auction house and that item does ultimately get sold via them, there's a nice little referral commission available for you as a part of that as well. So it's potentially additional revenue for you, but more than anything, I just think it's a really special, unique, helpful service that you can provide to clients in your sphere who have valuable items that they are looking to sell. Okay, so now we're just going to do a little bit of a crash course in winning and marketing top listings with Christie's International Real Estate. So, those were all of the things that you can take advantage of to kind of promote yourself and really boost or elevate your positioning, I think, as a well-connected luxury real estate expert. But if you're out there trying to win a luxury property, the first thing I think you should do is send an agent endorsement letter. Hopefully you are all familiar with the endorsement letter, because here at Properties, you of course have the great fortune of having an agent endorsement letter available to you at any price point. So of course, if it's under $1 million, it's going to come from your managing broker. But if it's over $1 million, it's going to come from Thad and Mike as our co-CEOs of Christie's International Real Estate. It's this beautiful kind of origami folded piece that we will send directly to your client on your behalf, endorsing you as a part of Christie's and as a part of Properties. It's no cost. The print letter is sent via USPS, so keep that in mind when we're talking about timing. But we also have an email version of this that's available as well, that's sent within 1 business day. So my rule of thumb is always, as soon as you hang up that phone call for that initial kind of request for a listing presentation, go in and request one of these agent endorsement letters in platform and get that going right away. Send a mailed and email version. So that email version will show up, within the next day or two. And then even if that mailed one shows up, after you have your listing presentation, I think it still is a great way to kind of cement that level of quality and remind them of who you are and what you represent and what you offer as a part of this network. And then the DLP, I don't think I need to tell any of you about the DLP. This is, I think, a part of all of your processes, but I hope it's also a part of your process when you're pitching for luxury properties as well. So we sort of feel like sending that endorsement letter is the first step. Follow it up by sharing a digital listing presentation with your client, and make sure you're including that luxury brand video. You just have to toggle it on with that little toggle when you're setting up your DLP. But it's a great way, I think, for you to help preview to your client what Properties and Christie's are going to be providing to them as a part of this process, so that when you're meeting with them in person, that focus is really on you and the client, creating that connection and talking about their property. It's also a great thing, of course, to email to your sphere to introduce them to Christie's and remind them of that level of service and marketing that you can provide as well. So I think you can lean into this too as, kind of a farming tool or a communication tool in addition to a listing tool as well. And then I did also want to remind you all of our beautiful physical listing presentation as well. This one, I think more than anything, is a beautiful sort of showstopper physical example of the level of quality and detail that you represent as a part of Christie's International Real Estate. Um, you all are very fortunate also as a part of App Properties because you have these kind of readily available to you in your offices for any of your million+ listing appointments. I bring that up because I work with a lot of other brokerages in the Southeast and in the Central US. And when they want to use one of these, they have to go into our brand boutique and purchase one and pay for shipping and wait for it to arrive. So there's a cost and a sort of timing aspect for them that you all get to bypass, which I think is so easy. So make sure you grab one of these when you're getting ready for a million+ listing presentation. I think it's really a no-brainer. You can take the Christie's details that are already in there and add on to it with your App Properties and personal marketing and really make this sort of a full services, beautiful physical presentation about all of those levels of personal, local, global reach that you have available. And then once you have your listing, it will be posted on the Christie's International Real Estate website. So that's christiesrealestate.com. That means your listing will be there among 14,000 other luxury properties. It's translated into 19 different languages. And among those other ways that we can showcase the property, we also have a featured listing menu and also different lifestyle categories too. So if it's an urban property or a waterfront property, a golf course property, we have the ability to tag them that way so that folks who are going to the website can search by sort of lifestyle or by geography, and your listing will show up in both ways. And then this, I think, is one of the most kind of underrated or more important things to keep in mind about Christie's International Real Estate and the benefits that we have. This is also kind of the center page of the playbook as well, but it's our listing syndication. So when you win your million+ property and it goes on the Christie's website, we're automatically sharing it on your behalf to all of the websites that you see here. So these are amazing national, international websites that are really targeting a high net worth individual, high net worth audience. You can see there's some great visitor numbers that those sites are getting every month. And so this is something that you can guarantee when you're on a listing presentation that is the kind of exposure that you can provide and a great talking point, especially if you are competing against another franchise, a Sotheby's, for example. Make sure you bring this up because it's a really great talking point and competitive piece that you can use. And then in addition to that, we have some great kind of optional advertising opportunities as well. We have a beautiful co-op print advertising program. So if you wanted to advertise your property in a print publication, we have those available at a very competitive rate. It's going to go from $175 to $325 per property, just depending on the publication that we're talking about. But these are places like the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Country Life. I think the thing to keep in mind here is, are they going to bring in a buyer? Maybe not. But if you've got a seller who's saying to you, like, I really think that we need to get my property in front of a New York City audience, or we really need to get this in a global publication, you have those here at your fingertips, and it's really easy for you to take advantage of. And then James Edition is one of the websites that we syndicate listings to. It is also something that we have kind of an additional option for you as well. So if you wanted to kind of enhance your listings exposure on the James Edition site, there are 2 additional packages that you can take advantage of. One that will bring your listing to kind of page 1, position 1, search position with a larger box and bigger photos for a full month. So that's the single listing promotion. It's available for $150. There's also a deluxe package. So if you really want to enhance your presence on the James Edition site, we have a limited number of spaces available that we've secured for Christie's agents, but you can essentially have one of those single listing promos and be a hero image on the front page of the James Edition real estate site as well. So keep that in mind. That's $300 for a 1-month package. I believe we can only offer 2 of those per month, so they go pretty quickly. And then the last thing I want to tell you before we wrap it up is about significant listing exposure. So if you've got a really special listing on your hands, something that's got like a great story behind it, we have a lot of great ways that we can provide kind of alternative promotions for it. So we can do dedicated posts on our social media channels. We can include it in one of our blog posts. Very special listings can be promoted in the Christie's auction house locations. And we can always offer some PR or media assistance as well. I do note here, exposure is complimentary, but it's not always guaranteed. So it is sort of subject to what we have available and kind of what criteria it matches. But if you want to know, like, do you have a significant listing on your hands? Consider submitting for additional listing exposure if you have a property that is particularly high priced for its market. If it's historically significant. So we do get some that have really cool stories of, kind of who built it or how. If it was designed, of course, by a famous architect or interior designer, if there was a famous landscape designer associated with it, those are all really important things specifically for like a PR angle. Always, 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 if it was owned by a celebrity or a notable figure, and it doesn't always have to be that, it was like Marilyn Monroe lived there. We actually ended up getting a lot of coverage for one of John R. Wood's properties in Naples, Florida, that was designed and owned by Dick Portillo of Portillo's Hot Dogs. So it can always be someone interesting. It doesn't have to be, some A-list actor or actress. But anyone who's kind of notable, even if it's locally notable, that's important to keep in mind too. And then of course, if there's something unique or noteworthy about the home or its story, like sometimes there are things that we don't know just looking at the photos, like that fireplace was, flown in from some castle in London. We don't know those things, but if you know that, or the seller has something that's really special about the store, about the property, always include that and let our team know, because that's something we can flag for future promotions of those properties. And then bare minimum, we always need to have high resolution photos of the listing. A big bonus if you have video as well, especially for social media promotion. Our team is dying to do reels. And so if you have great video of any of your $1 million+ properties, that's really important for us when we're doing that kind of promotion. So I know this was a packed hour, so I'm going to finish it up with my homework. I always like to give a couple of next steps if you want to kind of get your feet wet. The first thing, we've already said this, but read the playbook, watch the video, and get comfortable with those talking points. Follow at Christie's Real Estate, follow other Christie's International Real Estate agents and any of those auction house accounts on social media. Share the magazine with the top clients in your sphere, whether it's in print or digitally. I think that's just kind of an easy, kind of low-hanging fruit thing that you can take advantage of. Request one of those endorsement letters before your next listing presentation. Reach out to me the next time that you're traveling. So whether it's to an auction house location or if you would like to visit with one of our affiliates, let me know, and I'm happy to facilitate that introduction. And then last but not least, I host monthly office hours at a couple of At Properties office locations. This is the schedule here. So if you do ever want to meet in person, these are always great places to find me because I am on site at those offices once a month. So shoot me an email and I'm happy to set up time. If that doesn't work, we can always Zoom, but I'm happy to talk to you whenever you need anything.
One other thing I want to mention is if any of you are trying to win a luxury listing, Anne is a wonderful resource for that. Please reach out to her because we have a lot of things at our fingertips that we can use to help you win that business. So please keep that in mind. We have a good question from Renee. She's wondering if there's a list of all of the Christie's offices. So when she's traveling, she knows that there's one nearby.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, if you go to the website, there is a tab that you can pull down that will show all of the office locations. So not even just the affiliates, it will actually show all the office locations. So you can filter it by state or city or whatever. And then if you're having trouble navigating that, you can also just let me know and I can help get you in the right direction too.
And then we have another question from Nayla. She's saying that she's interviewing with sponsoring brokers in Florida. And she's wondering if Naples has any Christie's nearby.
Oh my gosh, yes. Naples has one of my favorites. John R. Wood is there. They actually were the Christie's Affiliate of the Year this year. They're a fantastic company.
A great
They've
company.
been with us about a year and a half, and they're wonderful. So I am also happy to make an introduction there. They actually have a great guy named Spencer who handles all of their kind of incoming onboarding agents. So if that's someone you want to meet, I'm happy to make that intro too.
Okay. Yeah, so reach out to Anne, okay? All right, I think that's all we have for you guys today. Anne, thank you so much.
Of
It was a lot of
course.
information,
It
but
was
I'll
a
make
ton.
sure to post all of this in our Accelerate 90 app. So you
Fab.
guys have all this information that you can tap into. Thank you for being here today. And everybody, thank you so much for your time and have a great week.